When Mendices confesses, Yandy starts crying. S13 Phew. You better grab onto your wigs because the events of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta Season 13 have completely destroyed the series. Tell me now, when your spouse admits to cheating, how do you respond? Not just with anybody, but with a castmate who has spent years drinking across from you on the same reunion couches. It's that deep, I see, because reality TV treachery was completely turned upside down by Kirk Frost. Additionally, Rasheeda not shouting. She's not flinging her hands. Sis is just standing there, broken, quiet, and unsteady. Why? Because it is said that Kirk admitted to having a serious affair with Carly. Red indeed. Carly. I remain in disarray. Red. It was captured on camera as well. This isn't a plot. Sorry, this isn't a plot twist, I assure you. This scandal stew is getting out of control. Audio leak. Yes, there are hidden texts everywhere. Cast in shock. You're aware already. And you know what? Hip Hop and Love didn't stop the cameras. They leaned closer. So fasten your seatbelt and take out your popcorn and record. I'm about to show you all the messiest confession lot in history. Kirk Frost stated, "Hold my mic. Let me cause a meltdown real quick because this ain't just your average cheating scandal." Just when you thought he could no longer surprise us. Let's go back in time for a moment. This is primetime betrayal that has been seasoned with Carly Red, marinated in covert hotel meetings, then served to Rasheeda ice cold in front of the cameras and the entire cast of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Let's not forget that Kirk has been caught, exposed, forgiven, and Ray revealed more times than Stevie J has said. This is especially important for those of you who have been emotionally shielding yourself from Kirk's 10-year history of relationship crimes. This time, this isn't what it looks like. It's not about vague direct messages or strange Instagram models. Apparently Kirk didn't simply cheat again, so this time the tea is so hot that it burnt Rasheeda's entire emotional stability on camera. With tears in his eyes and receipts with Carly Red's name in the awful sentence, he confessed. Take a moment to process that. Red Carly. The same Carly that has been passed from one reality show star to another more times than we can tell in a packed club. It turns out that the same Carly who previously said, "I'm too real to fake my life," was also too real with Rasheeda's husband. Let's establish the scenario now. The producers had arranged what they believed to be a typical dinner scene with a hint of drama. The typical tint, flirting, you know. Perhaps someone abruptly leaves. They didn't realize they were going to document hip hop and love. The decades, high point. In Midtown Atlanta, the cast had assembled in a private lounge. In the midst of the shrimp and grits, there were dim lights, expensive cocktails, high-end heels pounding the floor, and no indication that Kirk was going to drop a complete truth bomb. Rasheeda was as gorgeous as ever. Peaceful mood, face beat, and a sleek ponytail. Carly was probably thinking that she was going to start a small drama that would not turn into a major one as she sipped her cocktail and smiled. As if he had just read his own death certificate, Kirk was sitting there gnawing his lip. His neck was tense, and you could feel it. Then it took place. There was no plan. There was no script. Not even a prompt was given. Kirk simply leaned forward, met Rasheeda's gaze directly, and said, "There's something I need to tell you, girl. You can tell you're in trouble when a man who has cheated on you every season opens a sentence like that." Rasheeda blinked. Perhaps, she reasoned, this has to do with some previous messages or perhaps some drama with a producer. Or, in the best scenario, a fictitious feud with Scrappy. Not at all. Kurt took a big breath, cleared his throat, and stated during that break some time ago, "I made a mistake, and it involved Carly, one of the cast members." The record scratch begins. The jaws slammed to the ground. Q. Rasheeda is becoming quite quiet. And Carly. That smile vanished as quickly as a baby shower, side chick. Her eyes widened, like a raccoon under LED spotlights, and she froze in silence. In the background, you could hear the jingle of Spice's bracelet. Everyone, it became that quiet. The producers trembled. The boom mic guy even leaned in and said, "Wait, this wasn't in the script." When Mona Scott saw the playback, she most likely had to stop drinking her mimosa. Rasheeda, on the other hand, initially, didn't yell, toss a drink, or even react. You could see her digesting, but she just sat there, the relationship developing, the betrayal registering, and Kay's anguish playing out. If you know Rasheeda, you are aware that she has remained faithful to Kirk despite being unfaithful, rude, embarrassing in public, and having that strange baby mommy persona that no one liked. However, it seemed as though the last straw had been soaked in petrol and set ablaze. Worst of all, Carly didn't refuse to believe it. The fake was not even attempted by her. It was merely a rumor. She simply gazed down at her glass as if the ice cubes contained the answers. Everyone. Rasheeda only shed a single tear and remained silent when she eventually stood up. One tear that fell down her cheek as though Bianca had abandoned her in the rain. After that, she left. No yelling, no shoes flying, just gone. Carly attempted to say something to Spice in the meantime, but Spice even gave her the "don't talk to me right now" look. You can tell you've made a mistake when Spice isn't even interested in criticism. This man sat there like a discarded puppy. Kirk, as he tries to figure out how to spin this in his next confessional, his lower lip trembles. I didn't intend for it to occur. We were at risk. Quit talking. Boy, this is what you intended. Since the year 2011, you have been destined for chaos. And you know what? And that was just the start. Because it wasn't simply awkward. What came next? Fans found out on Twitter about a dodgy spar seat, burner account controversies, DM leaks, and a full-fledged cast civil war. However, we must first discuss what transpired before delving into the chaos that arose the following morning, including what Rasheeda shared in her since-deleted Instagram story and the person Carly attempted to place the blame on. Backstage, when the cameras believed that everything had stopped. Where were we then? Yes, indeed. Rasheeda plunged, her heart in pieces, tears in her eyes, and a mixture that was still unbelievably hot. Backstage, however, the tea was still boiling. Darling. Rasheeda's minute. Carly read. Walk out. Producers. Fumbled. Cameras were still running. Mix was still on, and somewhere in the control room, Mona Scott presumably screamed, "Do not cut." As if it were a portal to 2010, Sis attempted to vanish into that velvet lounge chair. In the meantime, Spice was Rasheeda didn't return home, which is the true twist. He was simply giving her that Jamaican anti-death look, like Mizzen, believe you did this, not you. No, ma'am. She went straight to her green room, slammed the door, and allegedly said to the producers, "I swear I'll burn this entire set if you don't give me a minute." Down. This is where things get really hot. An unnamed crew member told us that Rasheeda was pacing her dressing room while looking through her phone as if she were making connections when she took out the receipts. Not just from Kirk, but also from Carly. Yes, as it happens, Rasheeda had been wary of Carly for several months. Do you recall the episode from episode 3 about the spa trip? The one where Kirk claimed to have a business meeting and Carly abruptly cancelled at the last minute downtown. On their Instagram stories, Sis discovered timestamps that matched. Carly shared a robe-clad selfie. With a glass of champagne, Kirk displayed his watch. Boom. Maths was being done. But hold on, it gets worse. Months ago, Rasheeda received images of Carly and Kirk entering together from one of her homegirls, who also runs a manicure salon next to the same spa. Rasheeda didn't think so at the time. However, everything made sense following this admission. The DMs were then leaked. Yes, exactly. Following the posting of what seemed to be screenshots of Kirk and Carly's chats on Twitter by a burner account posing as Letter Expose, which included the following message. "You're going to act like last night didn't happen. Kirk Frostboy. Stop." Carly Rielitz all screamed together. Are these direct messages verified? Nope. Do we believe them anyhow? You were crying in my sheets regarding Rasheeda. To be honest. If you know anything about Carly Red, you know that she collects receipts, like their pack-grown cards. So it's very likely that she could have done so if she hadn't sent these. Speaking of chaos, do you know who else added their voice? I don't want to gossip, but let's just say that Carly has been too close to everyone's man for far too long. Bambi, yes, suddenly went live on Instagram as if she had been waiting all week for this mess to happen. Rasheeda sis, I told you, years Spice, then tweeted, Sim, that's it. It was only 3 letters, yet it was more impactful than a whole monologue. Let's speak about Kirk for a moment. A moment ago, the girl, not Bambi, was suddenly the oracle of truth, because we were in a bad place. We were broken up, and Kirk was out here interviewing producers to attempt to explain his logic while Carly was trying to backpedal and Rasheeda was about to start her own private inquiry. Didn't plan it, it simply occurred. Carly was there, consoling me. You want to tell me that the lady you confided in was the one your wife finds repulsive? And who is well known for dating practically everyone on this franchise? In lies, and flavored lies. Kirk also attempted to assign blame like a helpless magician. Carly merely listened. But wow, did she not hear me? Rasheeda and I weren't conversing. Listen, the people went crazy when she laid down. Twitter became a battleground, with memes all over the place. One included Kirk, while another featured Carly's face pasted on the Jungle Book serpent. He did it again, she cried, brandishing a trophy for her most unfaithful husband. Rasheeda's previous post's comment section devolved into a therapy session, with people saying things like, "Sis, get out of this man already. What is the average number of seasons required to learn, Carly? Really? That's low, especially for Kirk." Hernandez shared a video with the title, "This is the reason I left ELO," including Joe's line, "The same sloppy energy each year." Not to mention the cast's response. The next day, "Have some tea." The hotel was the venue for the production meeting. With heels on and no tears in her eyes, Rasheeda arrived looking stunning. She remained silent. For a whole minute, she simply sat across from Carly and gazed at her. Carly opened her mouth to say. Rasheeda raised her hand. "Don't, not quite yet." Boom. It was cold energy. We discovered another twist at this point. Spice, meantime, sat between them like a neutral Jamaican goddess, drinking tea and wearing sunglasses. She said, "I'm just here for my bill." Carly apparently did not want the video to be shown. According to reports, she requested that the sequence be deleted because it would harm her business and image. What brand girl? The craziness of Carly's collection. Naturally, Mona Scott was said to have said, "At that point, Carly began to lose her mind. This is what we pay y'all for. Nobody's cutting anything." In an attempt to elicit pity and provide an explanation, she started contacting the other cast members. She informed Eric, Mina, and Bambi Spice that Kirk falsely told her that Kirk had stated they were done for good and that she believed Rasheeda had moved on. The worst part, though, was that she wrote, "I thought she already knew. Kirk informed me that he had informed her." That's right there. Traditional Carly deserter, Rasheeda, and classic Kirk cowardice. She was finished. Without talking to Kirk, she reportedly packed her belongings, left the hotel early, and returned to their Atlanta home. Don't get it wrong, though, she wasn't trying to hide. That night, she went live. Just vibrations, no tears. According to her, loyalty is meaningless if it is only applicable when it is simple. "I see everything, but I'm not talking about nothing at the moment, BH. We refer to that as a power clapback." Kirk, meanwhile, appeared to have aged 10 years overnight, when he was observed at the Frost Bistro the following day, just clumsily posing with admirers and dodging inquiries about Carly. No Rasheeda in sight. What comes next though? Because the storm hasn't even reached its full intensity yet. Sweetie, when Rasheeda does speak in public, what will happen? Suppose she doesn't show up for the reunion. What happens if Mona Scott releases additional video? Furthermore, there is a new rumor that Carly isn't the only cast member. Kirk has been engaged with this member. Yes, the layers of betrayal are the reason we're delving further in this video. We have yet to reach the center. Keep an eye out. You would be remiss if you missed it. Hold on tight because if you thought part 2 was crazy, part 3 is going to blow you all away. Where were we then? Yes, indeed. Rasheeda fell silent. Carly read as Kirk wandered around like a lost middle-aged man at brunch, as if she were working public relations for the devil himself. Sis was attempting to repair the damage. But this isn't over because, just as fans were beginning to come to terms with the Carly Red affair, a new name appeared on the hip-hop and love backlot. Kirk had also been having an affair with a producer's assistant. A woman known as throughout the previous 3 seasons, Nyla has appeared in the background of numerous moments. Furthermore, she is 24 years old. 24 indeed. According to sources, months ago, Nyla and Kirk were spotted cuddling together at a private after-party that Mona Scott threw. According to witnesses, Kirk was speaking in her ear, massaging her thigh, and even driving her out of the party in his Tesla. Is this some sort of midlife crisis? This is when the plot twist comes in. It seems that Rasheeda was aware of Nyla prior to the Carly incident. Kirk apparently denied it as if his life depended on it when he was confronted about it off camera. Then this occurred. Kirk's phone burner. He did, in fact, manage to leave one at the Frost Bistro. A barman took it up one evening and noticed the mirror selfie and background of Nyla donning one of Kirk's chains, and gave it back to Rasheeda right away. Imagine Rasheeda unlocking a phone and seeing a Gen Z side chick wearing her man's jewelry as soon as she does. I need a moment. Everyone, The reunion is going to blow apart. No. Producers and the cast are preparing for the reunion in season 13, are already getting additional security ready. Although Rasheeda has not yet confirmed her attendance, rumors have it that Mona Scott is doing all in her power to lure her on stage, even if it means promising her a mansion. With no editing rights, the objective was to put Rasheeda, Kirk and Carly Red face to face in front of cameras and under intense lighting. Additionally, if Rasheeda does appear, Potfirks, according to reports, she is preparing for a full-on divorce plotline in the upcoming season by consulting with an off-camera private investigator. Additionally, she intends to provide her own collection of audio recordings, screenshots, receipts, and even footage from her home security camera that purports to prove Kirkentouring without a reason at Rasheeda isn't coming to play either. Spice claims that during her 3 minutes on Instagram Live, she only laughed and said nothing. Rasheeda is reserving her ammunition for the night of the reunion. We need a prayer circle, popcorn, and security. Carly begins the warm-up. Additionally, Carly Red is now turning on the entire cast, even though she has gone completely crazy after being forced online. After Spice, Bambi, and Eric Mena liked Rasheeda's dubious post, she unfollowed them and went on Twitter to say, "You guys are fake. Now it's a Misery Loves Company tour. Don't act like your men have been loyal either." Carly went on her podcast as well. Yes, it seems that she now has one. "I made a mistake, but Kirk is grown up," he remarked. "I didn't ruin anything that wasn't already broken. He knew what he was doing." That line is a nuclear level of gaslight. However, it doesn't end there. Additionally, Carly shared an old video of Rasheeda ranting at Kirk from season 5 with the remark, "This been toxic. Y'all just mad. It's on me now. This ain't damage control." This is Carly detonating herself. Public backlash hits hard outside of LHTL. The public has fully picked sides. Furthermore, assume for the moment that Kirk and Carly are being pulled from Petrie to Buckhead. On Twitter, Team Rasheeda began to trend. Fan edits of her crying while gospel music plays are all on TikTok. Additionally, supporters created a GoFundMe page called Free Rasheeda from Kirk. Last week, Carly attempted to advertise her skincare line, but the remarks were harsh. Does it absolve guilt? Does betrayal disappear? Exfoliate your values, girl. You slept with Rasheeda's man, and now, one person even said, "Go to church, girl, he's trying to sell eye cream." Kirk is hiding. It's been days since he last posted. According to sources, he's staying at a friend's condo in Midtown, dodging cameras. And he keeps phoning Rasheeda, but she's not responding. Rumor has it that Rasheeda blocked him on all platforms, including Apple Pay. Don't assume that Rasheeda is merely crying into her glam wipes as part of her retribution scheme. Know that she is allegedly collaborating with VH1 executives to create a spin-off program about finding her serenity and revitalizing her bossiness. Rasheeda's Revenge, Boss Up, preliminary title, and teaching women how to avoid garbage men. Guess what? She may not be walking by herself. In an attempt to transform the mess into a movement, sources claim she is collaborating with Yen Dandy Sierra and perhaps Candy Boris for cameos. Kirk is left with the Frost Bro and an empty house in the meantime. Employees report that he appears to be a ghost and is hardly present. Glimpse of the last scene. A small reunion for season 13. Oh, allow me to describe the final reunion moment that the producers are preparing. Scene. It's cold in the room. Rasheeda enters with her last hair down, her clothes neat and her face unreadable. Kirk folds his hands and sits there anxiously. Carly tries to maintain her composure as she sits across. "Rasheeda, anything you want to say?" asks Mona Scott. "Before we finish." And Rasheeda simply takes out an iPad, taps it, and plays a voice message that was recorded in a hotel room by Kirk and Carly. "Mick." Carly's expression falls. Rasheeda simply smiles and responds, "That's what I thought," while Kirk seemed to have seen a ghost turn black. "Oh, phew, are you all still alive?" Because it was a combination of a crime documentary, a soap opera, and a therapy session. Rasheeda burned it down instead of simply breaking it down. Kirk as well. That individual squandered his entire career over a 24-year-old production assistant and Carly Red. This cannot be made up. What comes next is the question today. Will Rasheeda actually finalize the divorce? Will Carly continue to deceive everyone in Atlanta into believing she's the victim? Will Kirk ever get better? Or will he only start a Frost Bistro edition of Side Chick? And let's not even talk about that reunion. If Mona Scott Young is competent, She will broadcast that episode without any 360-degree cameras, advertisements, and a priest in the backdrop. But, family, here's the actual deal. It's not only about Rasheeda or Kirk. This is about the consequences of repeatedly playing with a woman's loyalty. As soon as your relationship becomes your biggest obstacle, and the individuals you trust the most are the ones driving the knife deeper, I would like your opinion. Should Rasheeda forgive Kirk again? In your opinion? Or is it time for her to take charge and leave him in the remorse group chat? Should Will Carly Red be permanently barred from the friend group? Or is Kirk's midlife crisis using her as a pawn? Please share your ideas in the comments area, which is sure to be more lively than the reunion. Hit the like button if you're as shaken as we are. Kirk is sent into another dimension by the force of it. We're still dragging, so hit subscribe. These made-up plots become real-life disasters. Also, activate the notification bell, as we may receive fresh receipts every 10 minutes due to Mona's edits. This is a mess. There is anarchy here. Atlanta is a city of hip-hop and love, and Season 13 may perhaps the final season of Kirk Soonin. We'll be observing, we'll be conversing, and we'll be drinking equally. One drop. See you all at the upcoming Gravel.